March is a beautiful month for sports and a beautiful month for weather if you live here in Los Angeles. But what happens in March? The NCAA tournament, known as March Madness, there is just games everywhere. It's a fantastic tournament. And the UEFA Champions League, a world-renowned tournament, very prominent, of course, overseas, and there's a following here in the United States. And we're here to debate what we think is the better tournament. I'm joined today by Jock Slade, Francis Maxwell, Justin Mosier. I'm Jason Rubin. This is The Rundown, and we're going to have some fun with this one. Francis, we're going to start with you because you might be on your own. I have not decided yet, but we know you're going to side with the Champions League, and you have very good reasons as to why.
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, great tournament, the NCAA tournament. It's one I've fell in love with since I came here. There's two sides of it. If you're going to talk about what one's bigger, there's not even a comparison. You know what I mean? Because you are in one country. Some of you guys in the United States do have your blinders on at times, and you don't understand that the soccer's a worldwide sport. Right. There's a reason why Cristiano Ronaldo has 147 million social media following, and LeBron James has like 47. It's because the sport is transcended worldwide. And I do love the NCAA, but in terms of what is a better tournament, like I like the passion that's involved in college sports, and I like how everything is it's life and death for these players. And I do feel that that's the reason that the Champions League is so great as well, because it is life and death. This is not American soccer. This is the European football, and it has, where else in the world can you see, oh, who do I like again? Oh, Ronaldo. All right, he plays in that tournament. Oh, I like Lionel Messi. Oh, he plays in that tournament as well. And they play against each other. And Zlatan Ibrahimovic comes in, and Diego Costa, all the best players that you're known and love in the sport come together in one tournament to fight for that, what is known as the best competition to win every single year, year-round, and not just 1 month. Argument finished, lads. All
right, Jacques, we're going to move over to you. So there's one side for the Champions League. Jacques, we know that you're going to side with somebody else.
Well, I mean, I hate to say this, but I'm an American, so you know. So,
don't hate to say it. Don't hate to say it.
But like soccer or football, as he calls it, it's just not a big enough sport here in the U.S. Now, I mean, not to knock it. Obviously, it's huge worldwide, but growing up here in America and growing in the States, like basketball is what you know: basketball, football, and baseball. So it's basically the biggest tournament in the U.S. as far as sports goes. Like, there's no tournament as big as March Madness, and then there's so many schools, and like there's so much pride involved, and people are so passionate about it, and you get to see these young players, and you get to see where they blossom and turn into. Like, you see them in the tournament last year. You can remember Chris Webber calling timeout in the tournament, and how horrible of a moment that was, and like everyone felt that for him. But then when he made it to the league, like you were rooting for him, like go, like make up for that huge mistake that you made. So like all those emotions attached to it, that there's no way you can compare it.
There is, and like for both of these tournaments, and before I even decide where I'm going, we're gonna get to Justin. But for both of these tournaments, they really have unique angles to it. Now I know, to explain to anybody who doesn't know how the Champions League works, it's a double. There's two legs. Each team plays each other twice. There has to do things with aggregate goals, and there's more games. And one of the things that's really interesting for the Champions League is you get the same game twice. And how many times in March Madness I would have loved to see a rematch of the UConn versus Butler championship game, of watching Duke and how they won, and how Florida Gulf Coast upsets as a 15 seed. I want to see it again to see if they can do it again. But there's something so unique about the single elimination aspect that everything is on the line for those 40 minutes. And afterwards, when that 40 minutes is up, unless there's overtime, somebody's going home, somebody's dancing longer. Justin, I'm really curious your thoughts here on
You know, I'm going to side with the NCAA tournament too, and I think you just really hit on it. Although you would like to see some rematches, I think the single eliminations, it's so unique to the tournament. The upsets, like everyone always wants to know what the upset's going to be for the tournament. When a 15 seed upsets a 2, that's like one of the coolest moments that you see in sports during the year. And often they become Cinderella teams. You can follow them. Another thing that's amazing is buzzer beaters. I mean, unfortunately in soccer, like sometimes it comes down to the wire, but in the NCAA tournament, there are always buzzer beaters, and it's so thrilling.
It really is, and there's a lot of them. So there's two specific moments I need to touch on. I am siding with the Champions League, mostly for the reason that I have gotten into soccer so much over the past year and a half. Look, the NCAA tournament is one of my favorite things to ever exist, but when it comes down to it, there's such a huge following, and I wanted to say the college atmosphere is what makes the NCAA tournament so great. But when you watch these Champions League games, and you have 110,000 people cheering, chanting, and there's no commercials. That definitely does help, which is a big help. And you watch some of these mega athletes play. Now, for the sake of debating these things back and forth, the Champions League, really, the whole rematch thing is what I found so unique about it, that you play each other once and then you go to the opposing team's field and you play them again. So, sure, sometimes the games are down to the wire and you get these amazing, 90-minute thrillers, and sometimes you get blowouts. But in the long run, when it comes down to it, of course, the Champions League is bigger. The NCAA tournament definitely has more exciting moments.
Yeah, I agree.
So real quick for everybody, starting with Jacques, what's your favorite NCAA tournament moment? Do you have any that you remember specifically, or what's one legendary one you'd like to throw out there?
I think earlier the Chris Webber moment, that's just a moment that's going to stick. Like, I think that's going to be one of those moments that'll always be on a top 10.
It was his face, the desperation.
Yeah, like
and he
just didn't know what to do. Just like panic mode.
Beautiful trap play.
Yeah,
beautiful trap play. It really was. Francis, Champions League moment that you remember most?
Well, I'll go into Champions League in a minute. I talked to you about the March Madness. I loved watching VCU. What year was that?
That was
I think when they defined
2011
odds and went through to the Final Four. I loved that. I could really get into that because I went to college here, and I agree with both of your guys' points. Really good points. It's like, and I must note that single elimination for the Champions League is in the final. So like the final's one game. You play against each other, and it's a lot of moments. But the Champions League for me, I just love to be able to have the spectacle of the world's best players, and there's a reason why it's televised in every single country I think that has televisions in the world. And still, the March Madness, if you go to the UK, no one knows what NCAA means, and that's what it comes down to, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And I would love if people in the UK knew what college was, because I go back and I say I play college soccer, and they're like, what does that mean? Because colleges in the UK are called university, and no one plays it because it's not that big.
You don't make that jump.
You don't have scholarships. You don't have anything.
That's a really interesting point because overseas you don't have to. I mean, here, now you act as an NBA player, you can't just go from high school to the NBA.
Yeah.
Sebastian Telfair was one of the last to do it, and there's some great ones that worked out. Kobe, LeBron James, Kevin Garnett. Some of the greatest NBA players did not go to college. Now you have to go for 1 year. It's become a pit stop for a lot of players, like Andrew Wiggins, who would have been another one of those guys. Justin, a real quick, one of your favorite moments.
I'm going to cheat on your question a little bit. My favorite moment of the NCAA tournament is hopefully going to be this year when the Badgers win, because we have our best chances in a long time.
With Frank Kaminsky.
Frank the Tank's going to
pull the most athletic big man I've seen in a long time.
Well put.
He does have good court vision. So real quick, one of my favorite March Madness, because if we're keeping this under the March Madness umbrella, I think one of the greatest moments I've ever seen was in 2011 when UConn eventually went on to win against Pittsburgh. Does anybody remember Kemba Walker's step back to win the game at Madison Square Garden? Take a look. I'll leave that video below. Never has anybody had a step back that deadly in college. I've never. You know what? He probably had the Reebok pumps on, and he didn't even know it, or he was practicing with them. So make sure to check out that clip. We'll put that one in a link below. We had a whole thing about the Reebok pumps. What do you think is the better tournament? NCAA March Madness, everything to do from March 1st to March 31st when the Final Four happens, all of it, or the UEFA Champions League, where you get to see some of the most amazing soccer players, football players, world-class strikers, bolted in goals for 45 out. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Make sure to check out the rundown on TYT Sports and on the postgame, and you can also go over to thepostgame.com for some amazing editorial content regarding sports, everything, football, basketball, baseball.
Champions
League.
League.
Always, Champions League sometimes too. As always, we'll see you next time. Don't forget to subscribe, and thank you for watching.